Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. And oh my goodness, am I so glad that you join me here every day. Because I don't know who else to talk to about all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it was a beautiful day here in northern Colorado. Get that out of the way. It's nice and sunny. And 4 more sleeps until my daughter comes home. So I'm super excited about that. I hope you are enjoying the fall weather and, of course, the fastly approaching holiday time. My gosh, I swear I say this all the time, but time is speeding up. There's no doubt about it. I cannot believe we're about to enter the holidays. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the fall. You're getting outside and all that good stuff. All is good here on the farm. Cows are doing well. Got some more chickens today. Yep, somebody needed to unload some chickens. And so my son went and picked up a batch of chickens. So we got more chickens. So that's nice. And everything else is going well. But listen, hey, can we talk about Candace Owens? Because I feel like nobody is talking about Candace Owens. And it's so weird. The people who are talking about Candace, that have platforms and big shows and stuff, they're killing her. You know what I mean? They're just ripping on her. She's a liar. She's terrible. She's horrible. Oh, how could she do this? And I don't know, it just makes me suspicious. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes me suspicious. So I have been watching her because, first of all, I can just see the conviction in her face. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I don't care if I get killed in my comments. She's carrying the Holy Spirit with her. I can see it, so she's on a mission. And I've been watching with an open mind, not drawing any conclusions, just listening to her. Okay. And honestly, I don't even know where she's going with this because there are so many threads here, you guys, so many threads. So anyone that's taking offense to what she's doing, I would say, if you're not guilty, then chill out. Chill out. Like, I don't understand why everybody's all in a tizzy and shut up and you're a liar. And let me tell you, I am very skeptical of anybody who is trying to manipulate my emotions on the basis of some moral standard that, I don't know, who are you to be setting the moral high ground here and telling me, oh, how dare you? Don't listen to that. I mean, this is not the time. This is not the time. You've got to shut up because, this is not the time. When is the time? Because there's some shady stuff that happened in 1963 and we still don't know exactly what happened that day. So when is the time? 40 years later, when everybody's dead that was involved? Like, exactly when is the time? Fine. If you don't want to listen to her and you're offended by what she says, don't listen. Don't listen to her. It's that easy. You know what? If everybody felt offended and just, oh my gosh, how dare she clutch your pearls type of offense, then nobody would be listening to her. But you see, all the platforms are like, don't listen to her, don't listen to her, hate, 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 hate Candace. Oh, she's evil, she's evil, she's evil. Except for millions of people are listening to her. Just regular people. Like myself, like you maybe, millions. And she's putting together the pieces of what happened when Charlie Kirk got murdered in front of us all. She's putting together the pieces. And so I would say, if you at this point are still like, oh, you can't talk about that. And the lies are insane. The lies are insane. Not once has Candace accused Erica of anything. I've listened to every episode. Not once has she accused Erica. In fact, she's been nothing but respectful about Erica. Nothing but respectful. And she said very early on, listen, the only two people that can get me to shut up about this is my husband and Erica. I don't think Erica's asked her to shut up. So, I don't know why all these other people are in such a tizzy about it. Let her do her thing. I keep saying that, but I think it's suspicious to me that, I don't hear anybody else talking about her. Maybe Ian Carroll. I guess Ian Carroll is, and there's a couple of sleuth type, investigators that are on the case with her. But everybody else is in camp, I hate Candace. And I find it so bizarre. And so I want to talk about it today because, it's a difficult place to be in when everyone's telling you to shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. You're evil. Maybe you can relate. I think all of us on a small scale can kind of relate to what is happening to Candace and even Tucker Carlson right now. Did your family tell you you were an idiot? Did your friends tell you you were an idiot during COVID? Did people say you didn't know what you were talking about, that you were stupid, that you were a conspiracy theorist and you're a moron? And yeah, we all can relate a little bit to that, I think, right? After COVID. I know I can. And so I just felt like, you know what? I can't leave her out there. I can't leave her out there, even though I'm not following, or rather I am following her, but I'm not doing any investigation on it. It's not my area. I really am passionate about the health issue, but it relates, you guys, because and when I say they, I'm talking about the gangsters. The gangsters of the world that come in every creed and color. Everybody's got their little upper gangster, right? Tied to a corporation. You need to understand how this world works. Because we're playing on two different boards here. You got your corporate gangsters that are above the law. They're above everything. Because anytime they do something wrong, well, that's just an opportunity for people to be able to extort them into doing what they want them to do for better business negotiations. Okay? And I think Candace is really starting to figure that out. And I think a whole lot of people are going to start figuring out the truth about how the world really works, people. It is not what you thought it was. And I think she's getting closer and closer day by day. Everything's a business. Everybody's got a racket, as I like to say. Yeah, a little barely legal system where they can scrape together more money. Everybody's got one, so it would seem, except for people who live in a merit-based world. That's people like you and me. We think, work hard and it'll pay off, right? It's a merit-based world. Now, I think we exited the merit-based world in America, and I don't know if it exists anywhere else. Don't get it twisted. This is the greatest country in the world, but we got our problems. And it isn't just a merit-based society when you get to this level of the game. And by the game, I'm talking about the corporate gangsters. And so, I think that Candace is starting to understand it. I want to share one clip with you before we go to break. And then we're going to unpack some stuff here, because I think it's very, very important that people understand. You gotta do your own thinking. These people in control, they're not trustworthy. Check this out. This is Candace at the beginning of her show today.
Fast forward to 2025, and they're running the exact same playbook. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in broad daylight, and they immediately deployed their troops to criminalize asking questions.
What are you supposed to take from the everyone? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think the implication was dramatic, and then I think a lot of people reading the tweets would assume that she meant Erica Kirk.
Either Erica Kirk is evil and was in on it, or Candace Owens is an evil.
I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she's doing right now.
Post Charlie, there was so much unity, so much excitement, so much resurgence in faith and newfound interest in faith, and that now there is discord, so many distractions, and that is just like Satan, who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He is called the great accuser. He is the sower of discord, the author of confusion.
The reason I haven't waited on things is I'm an eyewitness to events, and they said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. But Candace Owens is well within her rights to suggest certain things and all this, and she has the right to free speech and all that. That's fine. She's right to ask questions. I just think it is hurtful and not helpful when you cross a line to strongly suggest somebody's guilty of something for which you have no evidence.
Challenge accepted, Frank Turek. Let's go Max today. Welcome back to Candace.
So I just want to say up front here, I don't think that every single one of those people showcased in that little montage is guilty. I don't think that they are evil. I don't know what level any of them are involved in this story, but I do know this. I think Candace is onto something. Let's unpack it when we come back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Welcome back. Please visit our Naturally Inspired store at naturallyinspiredstore.com. I know you're buying vitamins. I know you're buying wellness products. I know that you're thinking, man, I really got to get these cosmetics and stuff that are full of toxins out of my life. Listen, don't go to Amazon. Don't go to Amazon and search up, oh, I need this vitamin or that vitamin and, I'll just get it here, when you could support the Naturally Inspired community. Let me tell you, I did extensive research on this company that I am partnered with. They do testing. They have a laboratory test. They have research. They have an environmental working group designation. These are clean, clinically proven products. They work fantastic. I use them in my own home. I would not recommend them to you if I didn't use them myself. So take the guesswork out of it. Don't go to Amazon and search up, polyphenols or what have you. Come to the Naturally Inspired store. It's not just about products here. It's about community. You get my health text line when you make a purchase with me. You get health text line access. You get Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops. You get 15% off of all your products. You get my morning whoa, my words of encouragement. And let me tell you, we are growing and more is going to be available to you. Back office access to all of our resources and archived calls. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff. Free and flat rate shipping. There's so many benefits. The only thing I can think of is maybe more, people still don't quite understand it. That's the only thing I can think of. It's hey, is this too good to be true? No. I'm on a mission here to change this medical model. And I know that seems crazy and that it's such a big task. But let me tell you, this medical model is so predatory. It makes me sick. I talk to people every single day that have been taken advantage of through this predatory model. We've got to change it. The only way to change it is to connect people to real solutions for health. They get better results with their health. Guess what? They spread the word. We will shape culture in this country for our health. We will. No pharmaceutical company is going to stop selling to you. No politician is going to stop taking lobby dollars Just because, why? They all of a sudden got a morality check? I don't think it's going to happen. It can only happen through you when you change the way you care for your health. I know it can be scary, but that's why we established a naturally inspired community. So you could come on over and get support. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today. Pick yourself up some polyphenols. Pick yourself up some collagen. Maybe clean up your cleaning products in your household. There's so many ways for you to participate, and we're grateful for you being here and partnering with us on this mission for the future, for now, so that people can get real solutions for health. All right, let's get back to Candace. Yeah. So, I mean, do you see it? I see it in her. I see it in her. Bring it. Right? She's on a bigger mission here, and rightfully so, because just have a little look-see at what she discovered and presented here. Take a listen.
Normal is for big companies to file for a tax extension, but they missed that deadline as well. I think that was October 15th was a tax extension deadline. They have missed them both. And that is completely abnormal. And he is correct. If you go back and you look at Turning Point USA's filings before, they always file all of them at the same time. So this is unusual that they've left off 3 of them. And I'm going to let him get into a deeper clip here where he discusses the quote unquote missing 8.6 million. Take a listen.
Let us look at the one financial statement we do have for fiscal year 2024 for Turning Point USA. Schedule I shows grants and other assistance to organizations, governments, and individuals in the United States. This schedule shows you where Turning Point is sending its money. We see that a lot of money, $8,560,625, is being sent to America's Turning Point. They are sending it to their own shell company. Now, this is not necessarily illegal, except for the fact that the financial statement for the other organization is missing. We cannot see how this $8.6 million is being spent. This is very important because there are strange variances around this money.
Ooh, we got a little bit of missing money here. Do you remember how when I said just a few minutes ago, everybody seems to have their little racket, their little racket on how to arrange things just to like funnel more money in? I can't help but wonder here if this was somewhat of a little racket going. Were donors, and I'm just asking questions here, were donors donating to TPUSA with a bit of a deal worked out? A bit of a deal maybe where that money could be invested and actually make dividends and then redistributed? I don't know. But, you're aware of the EBT scam, right? Again, everybody seems to have their little racket, right? Even at that level, I don't know. The more I live in this world, the more I discover that everybody seems to have their little racket going. Got their little system, of how to make more money. Those EBT cards. Kind of like when, we give as taxpayers to people who are in need and the government doles out our taxpayer dollars to free food for people supposed to be in need, right? Well, what was happening and what happens a lot at the welfare level is people get EBT cards and, they're worth $100. Yeah, but I can't take the EBT card to the club and I can't get my nails done, with an EBT card. So I'll sell it to somebody who will pay, $50 for $100 worth of food. That racket. Yeah. And I'm just kind of wondering, we're talking about hundreds of millions, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars. Do they have some kind of racket going here? Where I put some money in and then we invest it over here because this is actually a tax write-off, to donate to TPUSA is a tax write-off. And then maybe TPUSA investing it, they get a little, bit of a deal there, get some dividends back. Like, I don't really know. But watch the second part of this video here. Take a listen.
5 years of 990 forms for Turning Point USA. Here is a table with contributions compared with the largest expense, which are the grants from Schedule I. You can immediately see a strange dip between 2022 and 2023. This dip happens because in prior years, they were sending money to Turning Point Endowment. They were transferring millions of dollars. This stopped in 2021, and they started ramping up sending money to America's Turning Point. Let's break this down. First of all, I find it really unethical that they were sending millions of dollars to their own endowment. I know that a lot of nonprofits do this, but I think it is unethical. Do the donors know this is how Turning Point is spending their money? Turning Point USA is taking in donations and then sending the money to their endowment to invest in the stock market. In my opinion, they should be spending donations on operating their nonprofit, not on buying investments. As of fiscal year 2023, they had $61 million of assets in the endowment, which was generating $1.9 million a year of investment income. Personally, I think that's an unethical way to run a nonprofit, but that's just my opinion. But what is important here is what happened to the missing $8.6 million, the amount sent to America's Turning Point in fiscal year 2024. The amount of money sent to America's Turning Point was getting larger and larger, and because the financial statements are missing, we cannot tell how this money was spent. If we look at the prior year, the majority of the money was spent on other salaries and wages. How is this possible when America's Turning Point reports 0 employees? Does anyone else think that sounds a little suspicious? In my opinion, what I think is happening is I think there are fake people on the payroll. I think that paychecks are getting sent to people who do not really exist.
I think this happens all the time. I think this is how corporations get so big. I think Trump gave us, a little bit of a breadcrumb about this when he was running for office way back in 2016. And I think he was debating Hillary Clinton. And she said, you don't pay any taxes. You don't pay any taxes. And he said, yeah, well, if you don't like it, I'm an entrepreneur. I do write-offs. He knows how to work the system. If you don't like it, close the loopholes. Right? That's what he said. And when he said that, I was like, well, he's got a point there. The question is, why are the loopholes open? It's because we don't live the same lives here, people. We don't live the same lives. These people have access to deals and, bookkeepers and accountants that can switch things around. That's, maybe legal or maybe barely legal. And that's how these things operate. The problem I have is that on the surface, we don't know any of this. And sweet little old granny thinks she's supporting Charlie Kirk and TPUSA and, right-wing values and conservative values. And, she's given $25 or whatever. And they think that money is going, to help. And that's a real problem because I think that happens everywhere. This is why I covered charities, I think last week. When you really get down to the nitty-gritty of charities, you find out that most of them, a very small percentage is going to cause, this is what I call a little bit of a racket. Right? Stay tuned. I've got more on this. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I don't know about you, but I always say this. It's very expensive to be broke, especially in the United States of America. It's very expensive to be broke. And it's a little, irritating, I think, to the average person to think that, you're being told that everybody's on the up and up and, there's a criminal level and when people commit crimes, they go to jail and, that's the way the world works. And then, you start to see cracks in the facade of how the world works. And you're like, wait a minute, why do we kind of all know that, there's a Clinton kill list and, who knows? Like, why do we have these kind of like, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, like, why do we have all these types of, dare I say, lore in American culture, but nothing ever gets done about it, and, I think it's because of this. Like I said at the beginning, like, do I think that Steven Crowder, all these people are terrible people? No, I don't know. I don't know them personally. But I will say this. When you're getting paid by the racket, you don't really want the racket to end. And maybe you don't ask questions. The money's flowing in and maybe you just don't want to know. It's providing a wonderful life for you. It's, you feel like you're on mission. You're doing this great work. And, and in Charlie's case, I think probably that got huge. TPUSA got huge and he was out front actually interacting with people. And when you're out front actually interacting with people and doing this type of work, you got to have somebody behind the scenes that's doing all the other work. And maybe he didn't know anything about this. In fact, I'm certain he probably didn't. You know why? Because Candace has the receipts that Charlie wanted an audit. He wanted to know where every dime was coming from. And it wasn't long after that request that he died. And so I don't know exactly what she stumbled upon here, but I know enough about life and I know enough about how people get ahead. And I know about this corporate gangster type of paradigm that we live in. And I'm guessing somebody had a racket going here. Just guessing. Just guessing. Just a guess from a gal who just, is old enough to know. I'm just guessing that there's some kind of racket going on here. And I would guess there's a racket going on everywhere. Like the healthcare model, right? That thing's a racket. It's not there to serve you and your health. Come on. Why do they put up the stock prices every time they talk health on CNBC? You know what I mean? It ain't about your health. It's about money, people. It's about money. And this is a big, big game to these people. And they're always chasing it. And it's money and it's power and it's legacy. And yeah, I do think there's some evil people in there. For sure. But do I think the people that we see on the screen are evil? I doubt it. I don't know. But I do know that when you're getting paid by a racket, you really don't want the racket to end. especially when it's a gravy train, and you're getting to do whatever you want to do. Like, you have a podcast and money's just flowing in, and yeah, you're paying me to do this. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that. I get it. It's hard being independent, let me tell you. If I didn't have a passion for this that I can't control, then I don't know that I'd be still doing it. It's hard. It ain't easy. Views aren't free, right? Views are not free. It's pay to play. So I totally understand it, but I feel like these people who are just rabidly attacking Candace are scared their racket's going to end. And I have no idea who's paying them. I would suspect, it's a bit of a funneling thing going on here. I think it involves the Christian church, you guys. I mean, I told you a few shows ago, like, I don't get it. A lot of these, there's a church everywhere, church all over this place, like just churches everywhere, gorgeous buildings. I'm not sure all of them, are funded by their congregation. I don't know. It's a lot of square footage, a lot of bills. And then, if you listen to Candace, she brings up some great points. She's on the same path as, like, remember Liz Crokin when she was, talking about Britney Spears' conservatorship and, that the progression from, like, a child actor. Like, why do we have all these child actors that seem to go completely bananas at, like, around 30? Well, if you know somebody like Kathy O'Brien, like I do, and you've read her books, you understand that around 30, people's psyche kind of breaks. And so if you've been conditioned, dare I say brainwashed, I know brainwashing, but really, their conditioning kind of starts to get a little shaky right around 30. And if you remember, like, people like Justin Bieber, it's like a little bit, he ran into the arms of the Christian church, right? I think they offer protection, but I also think that this might be some kind of racket where they funnel money through these things. I'm just saying, I'm just some crazy lady, right? I mean, I don't want to be conspiratorial. I do not. But also, I'm not an idiot. And if people are going to sell EBT cards for $50 when they're worth $100 because they want to get what they want, do you think that's limited to, like, poor people? Or do you think that a lot of people are the same? Do you think that people who have more money are more ethical, are more morally bound than somebody who's struggling for money? Just thought, right? So it's going to be interesting. There's a number of different threads that she has going here. She's got some interest in some planes, right? Some planes that have been following Erica Kirk. So she talks about that. She's got interest in people who seem to be, willing to, like, don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just, like, push it aside, where she has the fire to get to the truth of this. And I am praying for Candace Owens, because this is a very dangerous game. It's a very dangerous game for her. And I'm praying for protection for her and the truth. I don't really care what the truth is. I'm not invested in one side or another. I know that gangsters are everywhere. I hope by now people understand this, through COVID. They're not in, they could care less who dies. They could care less who dies. The good news is our way out of this really is the fact that millions of people are watching her, and millions of people are watching Tucker Carlson. And that I hope that there are more shows like mine who thousands of people watch, because that is what will create the change. And it will be, I just waiting for powerful people to make the changes that we want them to make. I know. There's people in the comments, oh, you're black-pilled, you're black-pilled. No, I'm not. I believe in you more than I believe in them. Does that make me black-pilled? I believe in you. If I had to bet on somebody doing the right thing, it would be you over them. Because I know how the world works, and I know that people at that level that play at that game are not the moral authority. Deals have been made. Negotiations have been made. They're serving a purpose, and it's a racket, guys. It's a racket. And no doubt, I think that Charlie Kirk had a frying pan moment. I think he was a fairly young, naive, ambitious, smart, moral kid that started out with this thing with Candace Owens to get out there on the road and, bring young people back to conservative moral values, the family unit. They had a really great thing. And I think they thought that they would do that, grassroots. But I think like everything else, other people get involved. These organizations get infiltrated, especially when somebody is growing in popularity. And it goes off the rails a little, and I think this is my opinion. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying, as a lady that's kind of been around and understands how the world works, this type of popularity, it doesn't go unnoticed, let's say. How that you've heard probably before, like never let a good crisis go to waste, right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, never let a good influencer go to waste. Because this is the age of propaganda now, is influencers. And it makes a big impact. And so I think that they thought they were starting out, and Candace herself has said, listen, I realize now, my interactions with Kanye, that we had handlers. The problem was they couldn't handle her. But I think, when you're focused on the day-to-day work like Charlie Kirk was, I think that to some level he had handlers, and maybe he didn't know it. His TPUSA was being handled, and he didn't know it. He started to feel the pressure. What do you mean? This is my organization. Like I started this. And whoever they is, the corporate gangsters, they didn't like the direction he was going. Now that's just me. Me, I'm crazy. And I'm a total conspiracy theorist. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it sure is interesting. And I'm going to keep watching. And I hope you will too. Listen, when we come back, it's time for the Naturally Inspired Moment, and I've got a great one for you today, so stay tuned.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Hey, listen, I'm fully transparent here. You want to know what my racket is? I'll tell you. I sell wellness products. And when you buy them, that supports this show. And I'm on a bigger mission to change the medical model. So that's my racket. I want you to get healthy. I want you to not be enslaved by the pharmaceutical model. And so, it's very important that we secure medical freedom for the future. So if you buy vitamins, if you buy collagen, if you buy anti-inflammatory polyphenols, if you buy clean laundry soap, if you buy skincare, I absolutely love the skincare. I never want to stop getting this skincare. Let me tell you, I am addicted to the skincare. It just makes my skin so soft and everything. I just love it. Anyways, if you buy that stuff, consider buying it with us at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Go there today, make a purchase. When you do, you get to be part of the Naturally Inspired community. That means you get my health text line. We can have a little chin wag here, back and forth, like I do every day with so many people in the community. And I get to learn your stories. And, maybe I give you a few tidbits, right? I don't give medical advice, but I help people discover the kind of advice that they need, if you know what I'm saying. So, real solutions for health, you get them at Naturally Inspired. Go there today, naturallyinspiredstore.com. So for today's Naturally Inspired moment, you know me, I've been talking about the digital revolution forever. I get a little bit passionate, a little bit crazy about the technology thing. I'm very protective of the art. I'm very protective of the art. I'm very protective of nature. These are our grounding points as humans. And I think a whole lot of other people should be a little bit more protective about it, actually. But, yesterday I covered a story and it was about, chatbots and suicide and mental illness and where is this all going? And I started thinking about it when I was on the treadmill today running. And I started thinking, why is it, we're dying. Sometimes it feels that way. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but sometimes it's like, man, we're just like, I was having a conversation the other day with one of my friends, and she's got two little ones. I think they're like 8 and 11. And she's like, yeah, I don't want my kids to have kids. I don't want grandkids. What? No. You didn't say that. That's, yeah. People are this concerned about the future and what the future is going to look like. And so this thought kind of stick with me too. It's like, wow, it's like we're dying off a little bit. Chronic disease, 76%, skyrocketing mental illness, and people not wanting to bring new life into the world. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart a little bit. So I started thinking about this, and it's like, we are not dying of lack of information, yet we are consuming information all the time, right? Like I've said before, there's no space for our own critical thoughts. We're consuming information. There is no lack of information. It is everywhere. What we are going to die of, if we're not extremely careful, is lack of connection. I'm fearing that we are losing the ability to connect. And so for today's Naturally Inspired moment, I want to talk to you about how we are made for connection. So somewhere along the way, many of us started believing strength meant doing everything on our own, that independence was the way. And we stopped learning from others. We stopped wanting to learn from others. We stopped asking for help. We stopped reaching out because vulnerability feels risky. And I would add to that we stopped supporting other people's endeavors. You see it all the time when you go on social media. People are happy to look at a train wreck and like it. Hundreds of likes. And it's not good. It's not good, and you know it. but it gets a lot of attention versus somebody who is trying to build a business, start a new thing, to provide for their family. 1 or 2 likes. Let me tell you, I like everything. Okay. I'm like, if I know you got a business, I'm liking. I just like. Because I know any little bit helps. And I know how difficult it is to build a business. So that's weird. I find that weird. And I don't know what it's all about. I haven't totally figured it out yet. But I think it's a signal to something. We stop cheering each other on. But biologically, emotionally, and spiritually, guess what? Humans are wired for connection. Our nervous system regulates better in community. Isn't that neat? We are a network. We've got vibes and we connect to one another. Your stress lowers when someone listens to you. Your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, through safe interactions, through laughter, through fun, through connection. It isn't a luxury. It's medicine. It's prescription. When you're supported, you don't heal faster because life becomes easier. You heal faster because your body no longer thinks it's in survival mode. So how do we build meaningful connections, especially in a world that feels distracted and distant? Okay, I've got some practical tips for you. So 5 ways to build strong connections. Number 1, be present. Put the phone down. Make eye contact. Listen to understand. Do not listen to reply. You ever have a conversation with someone who isn't even focused on what you're saying? They're just thinking about how they're going to respond. You don't care about me. You care about yourself. So just set it all aside and truly dial in. Listen, we're going to have to teach this younger generation how to do this because they've not been doing it. Haven't you noticed? So we're actually going to have to teach them. So it might get a little awkward, but you know what? Push through. It's worth it. Look people right in the eyes. Presence is the rarest gift today, actually listening to someone. Number 2, be honest. I don't know why everybody's going around putting on airs all the time. We're so much more alike than we are led to believe. You know how I know that? I talk to you. I talk to you every day. I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay? We're all got our own struggles. We're all going through it in some way. And if we just offer oh gosh, I remember when that happened to me. Honesty. It's connection. 3, choose people who grow. Look for those who inspire you, that don't drain you. Those who bring peace into a situation, not drama and chaos. And you don't have to fix everybody. Okay? It's not your job. You don't have to meet drama queen, and be like, oh gosh, she needs help. I feel bad for her. Yeah, it's not your job. It's not your job. Give before you get. So, encouragement. Be a cheerleader. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Give your time if you have it. All those things kind of multiply when they're shared. I liken it to putting seeds in the ground. Someone needs your ear, someone needs your shoulder, someone needs encouragement. It's a little seed. Because we all know it's going to be another day when you need some encouragement. You need a cheerleader. You need a little support. So don't be stingy with it. Number 5, stay consistent. Relationships aren't built in one conversation. They're built in repeated moments of showing up for people. There's a bunch of people I wish understood this one. You can't just, feel entitled to a relationship because, oh, that's my brother, that's my sister. I haven't talked to them for 5 years, but you're my brother, you're my sister, you act this way, you do this. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Relationships have to be nurtured, Thankfully, I talk to my sister every day, multiple times, probably too much, But I'm grateful for that relationship. And I've built it, and she's built it. It's a back and forth. It's a two-way street. So when you're thinking about someone, fire off a text. Hey, just thinking about you. Even if you can't have a long conversation or whatever, you would be surprised how that keeps the connection open. I was just thinking, I need to get back to somebody who called me the other day. So yeah. Life isn't meant to be navigated alone. We're not wired that way. Growth accelerates when we walk with others. Joy multiplies when it's shared. Grief becomes bearable when someone sits beside us and says, I get it, and you're not alone. So reach out to somebody, join a group, join the Naturally Inspired community. For goodness sake, smile at someone. Hold the door. Take a risk. Hold the door for a lady. You know what? Tell her dress is nice. I know, it's crazy. We need to get back to that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, compliments are nice. It doesn't necessarily mean I want to get up your dress, get in your pants or whatever. Like, you don't have to take it that way. Pleasantries are nice. They're nice. I would love to get back to that, You put some effort in a new dress and nobody even tells you, I really like your dress, Because they're scared now. I can't tell her, she might think I'm sexually harassing her. No, I might just think you're a gentleman and you happen to notice that I have a nice dress and I put some effort in. I'm not in pajamas in Walmart. Can we get back to that? I understand there's dirtbags in the world. Let the dirtbags be dirtbags. And listen, what other people think about you is none of your business anyway. You can think, oh, they're having dirty thoughts. Maybe. Who cares? You can tell yourself, oh, they just like my dress. You don't have to drum, offense up in yourself. And I think if we just acted like this a little more, the world would get more pleasant, And I think we all want that. Let's get back to being pleasant in our country. I, for one, would absolutely love it. Okay, listen, hour 2's coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You are listening to Naturally Inspired Radio, and I am so glad that you are here in the first hour. Just catch you up to speed. We're about to head into some news stories and, of course, our health topic. But in the first hour, we were discussing all this stuff that's going on with Candace, and we were talking about rackets. You know, everybody seems to have their little racket going, or they're making a little extra, doing a, maybe, allegedly, maybe, something that's just like barely legal, I don't know. Anyway, we were talking about it, and I feel like, there's a lot of people that are just getting pretty scared that perhaps their racket may be coming to an end. I don't know. But does that make everybody a bad person or whatever? No, I don't know. I'm not sure if people who are handled, so to speak, know that they're being handled. Yeah, I don't know if they do. So, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting as she unpacks it. It'll be interesting. So anyway, I want to just tell you that we appreciate everybody that has joined the community recently. Thank you so much for your support. We're changing things a little bit with the website. So when you go to Naturally Inspired Radio, on the front page, you'll find some graphics for different health concerns just to make it easy. I want to make it easy so that you're like, you hear me talk about something, especially in the health topic or what have you, like, I don't know, I'll mention a certain something. I want you to be able to find it quickly, right? I don't want you to go off and look it up on Amazon and purchase it there when you can get it here and you can support this message. And, our pricing is very, very reasonable. So, try us first. That's all I ask, because this is a huge mission that we have undertaken. Who knew it was going to be this big? Anyway, it's a huge thing that we're doing here. We're really trying to make an impact on the medical model. I just feel like it's so predatory, and people are not getting the results that they need or deserve. And so I know that the way to change it is through you. When you connect to real solutions for your health, for your kids' health, for your mom's health, for your uncle's health, for your dad's health, you're not going back to the broken model. You're not going back. So I do everything in my power to help connect you to real solutions for health. So check out our store. Just go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions about all this stuff I talk about all the time, just text me, 720-303-8868. That's 720-303-8868. Okay, for our American segment today, because you know me, I've been talking about American culture. And the reason I've been talking about it is because there's a lot of irrational paid influencers and other people who hate your culture. Yeah, they hate it. And they're trying to tear it apart. They're trying to convince you, in fact, that you don't even have culture. Okay? And I came across this clip today, and I don't know, my heart was warmed by it. I think because I feel that our art is threatened right now. I feel that our art, which is our very human experience, portrayed through music, through dance, through movies, stories, I feel like it's under attack with artificial intelligence and the technology movement. So I want to play this clip for you. This is Tom Cruise receiving an award last night. Take a listen.
And I ask that if you worked with me, would you mind standing up right now? Do me a favor. Would you all stand up for a second, please? Kevin, Houvain, get up, guys. Come on. All of you. The studios. Everybody, please. All of you. Please. All of you. I want to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I want you to know, and please know, that I carry you with me, each of you, and you are part of every frame of every film I have ever made or ever will make. And I want you to know that I will always do everything I can to help this art form, to support and champion new voices, to protect what makes cinema powerful, and hopefully without too many more broken bones. That would be nice. And I promise to do what I can, to maybe inspire that next kid who might be working their ass off right now to buy that admission or figure out some other damn way to get in that theater. So thank you all very much for this honor. I'm deeply grateful. Good night. Thank you.
I know what you're thinking, Holly weird at its finest there, but say what you will about Holly weird and all the weird culty things that go on in Hollywood. But that right there is passion. And I don't think anybody can deny that. Tom Cruise is passionate about making movies. You don't have to like his religion. You don't have to, subscribe to anything that he does or whatever. But just in that moment there, him describing his art and how passionate he is about it, it made me think of this segment about America. Because where did movies come from? They came from America, everybody. The first movie that hit the scene, if you will, the movie business officially began in Newark, New Jersey in 1888, 1891, when Thomas Edison and his team developed the first motion picture cameras, and the early film studio, his Black Maria studio in West Orange, New Jersey, built in 1893, is considered the first movie production studio in the world. Even though filmmaking started in New Jersey, the movie business as a major commercial industry formed in Hollywood. That's probably when things got weird, in the 1900s. And the reason why was because it was consistently sunny weather, natural lighting. They had varied landscapes there. And they also wanted to avoid Edison's strict film patents. How American is that? By the 1910s and 1920s, big studios like Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, Columbia, and MGM were based in LA, making Hollywood the global capital of filmmaking. So 1888 to 1893 was in Newark, New Jersey. 1895 to 1905, New York City and the East Coast was established. 1907 to 1915, Hollywood, California. 1920s to the present. Mostly Hollywood dominates, although we're seeing that change as well. But what I really wanted to focus on here is the fact that this dream only exists in America, really, where kids grow up and they dream about being actors. They dream about telling stories. They dream about living this life. And Tom Cruise, like I said, whatever you think of him. But the passion for the art is definitely there. This guy does all his own stunts, right? The passion, and I'll be transparent here, when that... There's been some things, that have leaked out about Tom Cruise, and I can't help but think they're smears, because they don't like what he does with the Scientologist church, and so they've tried to smear him with stories. They've tried to paint him in a weird light, and I don't know if they're true or not, but I am aware of smears. And even during COVID, there was a leaked audio of him where he was like really mad at people for not wearing a mask. And I thought, oh, gross. That's pretty gross of him to act that way. But when I hear him talk here, I get it, because this guy's obsessed with making films. He's obsessed with movie making. I'm sure he's fully aware of the cult and everything that goes on there, but his love for his art and his storytelling keeps him hyper-focused on that. And I thought, well, maybe that's a strategy. As we move through this digital revolution, maybe that's a strategy to be hyper-focused on our art, on our creating, right? Where we're just so dialed in on making something that impacts other people, that might carry us through the digital revolution, where we aren't so discouraged or afraid or worried about the future. Maybe we start modeling being hyper-focused on creating. Certainly, that's what Tom Cruise has done, and it's worked for him. I would say he's a bit of an outsider around Hollywood when it comes to his belief system. And maybe, I don't know, I'm getting a little conspiratorial here, but I've often thought maybe that structure offers him some protection from whatever else goes on in Hollyweird. Who knows? I don't know. But these are just thoughts that I've had, because it seems like the people who operate kind of outside of it, but just have a love for the craft of making movies. are just a little bit cooler, than some of the indoctrinated people who are just, kind of robotic and churn out the films and just, I don't know, don't have that level of passion. Anyway, so that is your culture. And don't forget, culture is the shared pattern of beliefs, values, behaviors, customs, language, art, and social norms that defines a group of people. It's essentially how we do things around here. And around here, we love movies. We love movies. And I think that's pretty cool. Stay tuned, everybody. I got some news stories you are not going to want to miss. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Welcome back. So glad you are joining me today. Got some good stories here. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? Do not shoot the messenger. But I have been talking about this for a really long time. You know why? Because I've known people that this has happened to. Okay? I have known people that this has happened to. So I'm going to preface this with, do not shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you, you need to know this, okay? Marijuana use, I don't know, it's not for me. I don't use it. But I know a lot of people do, and I know it can be helpful with pain, and I know it can be, helpful. But also, there's this other side to it that I think we don't acknowledge. And that side is called psychosis. And I think people don't realize if you're smoking too much weed, it can cause psychosis. And so I was just like, giving all the accolades to people like Tucker and some and Candace and stuff for covering topics, that were conspiratorial, that I've been covering for years in my little world here. But yeah, I've been talking about psychosis and marijuana for a long time. And it is something that, I told my kids, my kids really aren't like the pot smoking type of kids, but I told them, you do not do that. If you're under 25, especially, no. We're talking I went into great detail to explain the consequences on your brain of marijuana, especially under 25. No bueno. Yeah, like I said, I know people that ended up naked in the woods. Okay? It's a little crazy. And you would think it's just pot. Well, I don't know if it's the same pot of yesteryear, I guess we could say. Anyway, here's a clip from Tucker. I was really glad to see this, actually. Here it is. Take a listen.
There seem to be all these studies showing a direct connection between heavy marijuana use and psychosis. Is that connection real? And if so, how exactly does that happen? Do we know?
Well, it's absolutely real. And people who have a certain genetic makeup are more vulnerable to becoming psychotic. One gene in particular, if you have a combination of an abnormality in that gene, you have a 7-fold, so that's a 700% increased risk of becoming psychotic if you are a heavy user of marijuana. So not for everybody,
right?
But for everybody, the risk is somewhere between 2 to 4 times, especially if you start young. And now it's the young that are suffering from the idea that marijuana is innocuous, because it's not innocuous. But because they think it's innocuous, I think psilocybin's going to go the same way. When the perception of the dangerousness of a drug goes down, its use goes up. And that's what we've seen. And teenagers who use have a higher incidence of anxiety, depression, suicide, and psychosis in their 20s. And so you're taking a developing brain and altering how that brain develops. And what we're seeing is the highest incidence of brain and mental health problems in young people we have ever seen. Study from the CDC, 57% of teenage girls report being persistently sad.
57%?
57%. 32% have thought of killing themselves. Think of that.
Of all.
Those are alarming statistics. Like, I can't recall anybody wanting to, or that expressed to me growing up that they wanted to kill themselves. I mean, that's an alarming statistic right there. And I think the question is this. The question to me is this, like, why do so many people want to escape? You know, why do so many people want to escape? I mean, I know kids will be kids and, you know, you experiment drinking or whatever. But listen, psychosis doesn't come from smoking marijuana once. This type of impact on your mental wellness doesn't come from like smoking one joint. This is chronic use and excessive chronic use. And so the question is, like, why do we live in a culture where we need to escape all the time? It's just something I thought about when I was listening to this podcast. Like, what's the need? Like, why are we modeling escapism so much? Whether it's escaping through the portal, you know, digitally, because that's now an addiction. Whether it's changing our state with alcohol, whether it's changing our state with drugs. And listen, I'm not for banning drugs. I don't want anybody to get that impression here. I'm for freedom. Banning stuff, meh. It doesn't work, right? Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think, you know, education, really, like you start doing drugs, you're headed down a road for disaster. And why can't we make not doing drugs more enticing? You know, I mean, really, like, I mean, let me tell you, when my kids were small, we went to some gritty places, my hometown included. I think my kid saw someone shooting up with heroin in my hometown for the first time when I think he was 10. So they've been around, and I took every opportunity to say, you know what? That's trauma. That is undealt with trauma. And it turned into escapism. And now they have a physiological problem. That's huge. And you got to understand that that was a progression that they landed in that situation. And I feel like, yeah, if you ban stuff, that it does no good. But education, and also, like, we're so intriguing. as human beings. You know, we don't talk enough about the intriguing stuff about being human, you know, like memory and intuition and creativity and all these kind of intriguing things that make us human. We don't talk about that stuff. You know, we don't talk about things that are kind of magical about humans. And magical, I don't know, you know, it's not the best word, but like, you know, obviously God gave us these higher faculties, and we don't talk about them enough. We don't talk about how to cultivate relationships. We're all about algebra, you know, and all these other things in school, but like, really? I haven't used algebra at all. Have you? You know, wouldn't it be nice to know how to interact with people for better results? Wouldn't it be nice to know that you operate off of frequency and how you have more power around your circumstances than you may think you do? Like, it's just, you know, you know me, I'm fascinated with life. And I guess I don't understand why we don't talk about that. Maybe we'd have a lot less kids that are, you know, looking for a way out, some kind of escapism, and adults too, if we spent more time focusing on the intriguing things about being human, you know? I know that may sound like utopian or whatever, and it's obviously not that easy. We have many social problems and stuff, but hey, you know, I think it would be a start. I think it would be a start, is pouring into people and having them seek to understand really what a marvel they are. It just in their biology, just by existing, you know, just by existing in this human form. And that, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a real sad thing that so many people, especially young people, are looking to escape everything. We've got some physiological factors too that we're not factoring in, you know, things like the MTHFR gene mutation that make it difficult for people to detox and process B vitamins, which creates anxiety. You know, there's things that cause anxiety in the body. And imagine being a child and not really having the vocabulary, right? Because in order to communicate, we have to have words. We have to have the vocabulary. We have to have the words in order to, you know, express how we're feeling. And kids don't have the vocabulary. So if you're dealing with anxiety and weird feelings inside and you don't know, you can't just want to kind of like come out of your skin sometimes, then I can understand wanting to self-medicate. And I think that's a pathway into drug abuse as well. So there's a lot of things that we don't talk about being human that I think we should start talking about. And maybe, just maybe, I don't know, call me crazy, but just maybe we wouldn't have this, you know, this tendency to want to escape. And I'm not talking about the experimental stuff, you know, sneaking off and having some beer or whatever. I'm talking about like this chronic use, this chronic, like, escapism. They're not wanting to live in reality, whether it's, you know, escaping in the digital world or escaping through drugs. And that should be a sign to us, you know? I don't know. Something to be aware of, though. Psychosis is real, and it's definitely being experienced through today's pot. Got more news stories coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and we'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. Brian from Oklahoma shared this with us. I struggled with cravings and afternoon crashes for years. Tammy taught me how to stabilize my blood sugar naturally, and it changed everything. I've lost 20 pounds. I have steady energy, and my sleep has never been better. So try it today. This is what you get for being in the Naturally Inspired community. You'll get on track in 90 days. You get priority access to my text line, and you get VIP access to our weekly wellness workshops. So schedule your free health and lifestyle assessment with me. It's really me. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment and book today. If you have any questions about this or how we do things here, 720-303-8868. 720-303-8868. I'll answer you. Just hit me up on the text line. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. So I just wanted to read this to you. Okay, this is a kind of a random tweet on Twitter, but I read this and I thought, oh my gosh, this, people need to hear this. Because I've played you clips and I have talked to you and I have said, listen, this medical model is crazy. And if you go into it, it is predatory and I'm scared for you. I'm scared for you. And so I saw this random tweet and I just wanted to read it to you. So it says, a friend told me recently that his wife, who's an MD at a major local hospital, is seriously considering leaving medicine. Not because she stopped caring about patients or long hours, but because of the pressure from above. In her system, every diagnosis comes with expectation of prescribing the drug that matches the code. I've told you, there's no practicing medicine anymore. It's not a practice. If she doesn't, she gets questioned, evaluated, sometimes even financially penalized through performance metrics tied to, quote, quality measures. This sounds noble, but really just means, did you give the patient the medication the system expects you to? He said she's been dealing with it for a while, and it seems to get worse every year. She didn't go into medicine to be a cog in a pharmaceutical machine. She went in to actually help people. But the hospital's incentives don't reward lifestyle coaching, nutrition conversations, movement prescriptions, or digging into root cause. There's no bonus for helping patients reverse insulin resistance, but there's plenty tied to metrics on prescribing statins, GLP-1s, hypertensive medication, SSRIs, and anything else that fits neatly into a billing code. That's precisely it. And that's why it scares me, and I'm scared for you if you're in that system. Because it isn't about it. It's not controlled by, listen, I've interviewed hundreds of doctors. Okay. And I ask them, how did we get here? And it's usually like a couple of different answers. One, they say things got really compartmentalized and specialized. And when they did, that changed the practice of medicine. because medicine is an art. The way you practice medicine, it's the medical arts, everybody. I know you may not like that because you've had science crammed down your throat, but let me tell you, you want some art in there because you're an individual. And if you just go straight for the science like they're doing, it doesn't turn out good for everybody. Okay? It's the medical arts for a reason. And these people, now they're not even qualified, in my opinion. These medical doctors, they're not even qualified to treat you. You know why? Because they go through indoctrination camps funded by your pharmaceutical companies. You're not getting real care there anymore. And I know that's alarming and you think, oh my gosh, what do we do if we don't have a health system? You tap in. You really tap in. You understand that food is fuel. And the way your body processes fuel is crucial to your health outcomes. All dis-ease in the body is a metabolic dis-ease. So yeah, of course we need emergency care. I'm not talking about emergency care here, right? You get in a car wreck, thank goodness we have surgeons. You get in a car wreck, thank goodness we have emergency rooms. Like, thank goodness, thank the Lord that we have emergency medicine. I'm talking about chronic illness here. They don't have the answers. And most doctors know it. That's the other thing. So they tell me, compartmentalization and specialization has really ruined the practice of the medical arts. The other thing they tell me is that they got into medicine to help people, and many of them got out and started a different line of work in a natural practitioner like functional medicine, or maybe you're a registered nurse that does other types of like health coaching and stuff. Like, everybody's getting out. All the good people are getting out. And the reason why is because they can't help you. They can't help you in this restrictive system. They don't get to. Why bother studying nutrition? Why bother studying, herbs? Why bother studying vitamins and its impact on people? Why bother understanding, insulin resistance when you can't prescribe that? I'm telling you, it's not going to change through your politicians who get lobby dollars. They're not going to vote this stuff out. They're not going to. You got to look at it for what it is. It's a business. It's yet another arm of business. The only way it changes is when you and I start making different choices in the marketplace. That's why I'm working as fast as I'm working and doing as much work as I can, because I feel like we have a limited time to get this done. Because of COVID and whatnot, it's like a lot of people mistrust the system, and we've got kind of a window here. If you understand how to curate health in your body, you're never going back to that system. And so my dream is that enough people will realize it, and we will be able to recapture a new system, part of the old system, the medical arts, and truly help people's bodies heal, because nothing heals. Nothing outside you heals. The only healing that occurs is when your body has the right circumstances set and it's ready to heal. And that should be the understanding of the medical model. Hopefully in the future, it will be. Next up, I want to cover this clip, which kind of leads into it here. This is Finn Kennedy. This is Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s son. And I just found this interesting, so I wanted to share it with you. Here it is.
Same place. Chronic illness makes your dreams feel impossible. It separates you from your relationships, and it mutes the colors of your life. It turns 1,000 dreams into one. My journey is a template for the battles that are becoming more and more common for millions of Americans. The experience of a mother in this country today is different than it was 40 years ago. She's 3 times more likely to be obese, 2 times more likely to need a C-section, and 3 times more likely to die in childbirth. When the baby comes out of the womb, it is thrust into an environment with 80,000 chemicals and fed infant formula with lead and mercury. If that baby goes to public school, 2/3 of their diet will be processed food. If it's a boy, there's a 15% chance he's put on a stimulant. If it's a girl, there's a 50% chance she experiences persistent feelings of depression. Then, regardless of gender, it's more likely than not that at some point in their life, they end up in medical debt.
I like to see the young people getting involved, and this is no future for our children. This is no future for our children. Walk into a grocery store, you can barely buy any of the food because it's all poison. You reach out for help, the only solution's a pill. It's shameful, really. We let this thing get off the rails because of corporate greed and corporate gangsters. And the stock market is the priority. Money is the priority. And our children suffer for it. And it's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So this gave me a little hope, seeing someone young up there, taking a risk and addressing an audience about things that they're passionate about. They should be. Really, we don't have anything without our health. It has to be the priority. It has to be. But yet somehow we are so lost that we think money is our priority. I'm here to tell you, you can't spend your money when you're dead. You can't even spend your money when you're not feeling good. Like Finn Kennedy just said, it turns, disease, chronic illness, it turns 1,000 dreams into one. Meaning when you're well, the world's your oyster, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to build that. I'm going to do this. And when you're not well, the only dream you have is to be well again. I think we can turn this around. I really do. But it's up to you. It's up to us as a culture. We need to take personal responsibility for shaping culture in our country. We got to grab it back. I think do I have a minute left here? Let's go quickly to this clip of Trump.
Going to go down. It went the exact opposite with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance, and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own healthcare, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better.
Now, what does this mean? What exactly does this mean? I've got a couple thoughts, and I'll share them when we come back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Hey, listen, I don't want to rain on your parade. I don't. I really don't. But I will say, when have you ever known the government to give away free money? I listen to this and I think it's very interesting, an interesting idea. And I can't help but think that, Trump just got into the pharmaceutical business, Trump RX. And I find that interesting. And I am, I don't entirely know where that's all going, but I find that interesting. I also find it curious that he has never denounced the, horrific COVID-19 vaccines. And so, I'm left to believe that Trump's, kind of a pharma guy. He's kind of a pharma guy, which I get, this big business. Pharma is big business. And of course, we need pharmaceuticals. There's a time and a place for pharmaceuticals, I'm not hating on Trump here. I'm just thinking I don't know what that means because the government has never given away free money. And if you think you're going to end up with a check in your bank account where you can go spend that on whatever kind of health care that you want, I think you might be being misled, So I guess the question is, what are we going to have to do for that? What does it mean? I would love for that to be given to everybody freely so that they could truly pick the type of care that they want. But another part of me thinks maybe this is a different version of socialized medicine. Because if the government is going to give you money, they're going to dictate where you can spend it. And you know that. Don't be silly. But let's see. Let's see what happens. All right, let's get into our health topic today because this is an important one. Yesterday, I talked about the hypothalamus, and I wanted to get into insulin resistance, and then we kind of ran out of time. So I'm coming back to it because it's very important, okay? This is an important connection because most people think insulin resistance only affects the body, but it deeply impacts the brain, okay? Especially the hypothalamus, which controls metabolism, hormones, appetite, and energy balance. So the hypothalamus is designed to respond to insulin. The hypothalamus has insulin receptors that help it register fullness, right? Control appetite, regulate your metabolism, signal when the body has had enough stored energy. In a healthy system, insulin enters the brain and tells the hypothalamus, we're fed, stop eating. And insulin resistance blocks that signal. So when someone is insulin resistant, the hypothalamus stops responding to insulin properly. So even when insulin and blood sugar are high, the brain acts like nutrients are low. And so this triggers what? Hunger, right? Cravings, particularly for sugar and refined carbohydrates, and fat storage signals. So it becomes a feedback loop. The more the hypothalamus is ignored, the more it pushes the person to eat. The hypothalamus becomes inflamed, okay, with insulin resistance, and it causes neuroinflammation, especially in the hypothalamus. And inflammation damages your neurons. That's responsible for appetite regulation, energy expenditure, so that fatigue you're dealing with, and hormone communication. So this all leads to dysregulation, meaning the brain no longer accurately controls your metabolism. Then we start getting something called leptin resistance. And insulin resistance almost always leads to leptin resistance. Leptin is the hormone stored in fat cells that tells the brain you're full. It's the satiety hormone. But in resistance, that message never gets through. So the hypothalamus believes, we're starving. And it responds by slowing your metabolism, by increasing cravings, by increasing fat storage, and lowering your energy. And this is why many people feel exhausted and hungry, even when they're overweight. The metabolic loop spirals. So it goes insulin resistance, hypothalamic dysfunction, overeating, slowed metabolism, more weight gain, more insulin resistance. So it's not about willpower, okay? It's a biological trap, and it's happening in your brain. So hormones controlled by the hypothalamus become disrupted because the hypothalamus communicates with the pituitary. Insulin resistance can disrupt thyroid hormones. It can disrupt reproductive hormones, cortisol rhythm, hormone growth hormone, hunger hormones like ghrelin. And this contributes to that, fatigue where you feel so tired. Perimenopause and menopause chaos galore. So if you feel like I cannot get a handle on this is hitting me like a freight train, hypothalamus, insulin resistance. Sleep disruption comes along with this. So the hypothalamus can recover though. This is what you have to do. Lower sugar and refined carbohydrates. You've got to prioritize protein. You've got to increase healthy fats. You must strength train. Even if you just start with a weighted vest, you've got to get some resistance in there. You've got to manage your stress, walking after every meal, eating in a feasting window. I prefer 16-hour fast, 8-hour feasting window. The hypothalamus can restore insulin sensitivity and metabolic stability. It can. Okay, here is your go-to package that you need. I'm going to put it up because so many people are dealing with menopause issues and they think it's a matter of hormone replacement. They think it's a matter of willpower, that they're going to exercise their way out of this menopause disaster train wreck. It's not going to happen. There's many things that you have to do, okay? You can go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. You're going to click on the hormones graphic, and it's going to have my rescue package on there. We're talking about menopause hormone complex, Omega Guard, pharmaceutical grade omega-3 Omega Guard is awesome. Polyphenols. This is a cellular reset. It helps with inflammation, helps restore mitochondria. Okay, vitamin D is crucial in this process as well. It's crucial to restore restoring the hypothalamus. Vitamin D. You also got to be getting sunlight every day. Very important. Also collagen, right? Because you're losing collagen at a higher rate when you get to this chapter, gals. When you get to this late chapter that we're all in, welcome. Because it's not all bumps and bruises right now. You get this under control and you're going to have new clarity. You're going to have so much more clarity, so much more energy, so much more wisdom, so much more intuition. When I talk to women every day, it feels like they're in a little bit of a crisis with menopause and perimenopause. And it doesn't have to be that way. You're there because of the standard American diet. You're there because of decades, more than a decade of diet culture. And you're there because you don't truly understand your brain and the connection to your hormones. The good news is there's a way out, and you can be supported in this journey. So get yourself the menopause hormone complex, get yourself the omega-3s, get yourself the vitamin D, the polyphenols, and the collagen. Invest in yourself in this time of your life. You will not regret it. Okay? Do not suffer in silence and think that you can white knuckle it through this thing. So many of you, you're like, I don't want to do HRT, but like, I feel like I can't live like this, feeling like this. I understand. It's going to take a little bit of work, few changes, but I promise you, give yourself 90 days. Give yourself 90 days, right? Invest in yourself for 90 days so you can get through this transformation and out the other side feeling better than ever. It is possible. Right now, your hypothalamus is changing. It's reacting. It's reacting to every sensitive temperature change. It's trying to recalibrate. You aren't broken. You are transforming. But you might need a little support during the transformation process. And everybody does. Everybody does. But, my advice is don't reach for something that's going to cause you more problems in the end, right? We all know there's pills that'll take care of this or take care of that. I just feel like that's kicking the can down the road. Why not support yourself through this transformation holistically, naturally? Oh, I can't afford to do all that. I don't know what. Listen, you deserve it. You're at a point in your life where you've taken care of, and I'm speaking generally here, but so many women I talk to on a daily basis, you've been taking care of everybody else. And now you're at a point where your body's like, you're vibrating and you're not understanding why you're in this predicament. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why. The good news is you can restore it. You can restore it, and you can do it in the Naturally Inspired community, and I'll support you. You'll get my health text line. Okay. So questions, what do I eat today? I don't know about this. I don't know about that. That all comes in on my health text line every day. And as my customer, you are my priority. The second thing you'll get is you'll get the weekly wellness workshops every Tuesday night at 7:00. We talk about a different health topic. And, if I get enough people that are interested in just the menopause group, we may just break off and do our own menopause thing, because there's a lot of you coming to me now. And I want to make sure we're dialing it in for each person. So head on over there. Go to Naturally Inspired Store. Get yourself the hormone bundle. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. You got any questions? Text me 720-303-8868. It's not just your hormones, it's your hypothalamus. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.